To you, Commissioner Lichuma, first of all, this must make you very happy because yeah, you're the chair of the National Gender and Equality Commission. This are the first out of the gate so far, as we can say, to be the first female governors in this country.
Yeah, I'm totally excited. The whole of last week I went around and had a meeting with all the 9 gubernatorial position candidates. And for sure, they were very, very promising that this time around, we will have some women come into the leadership position. And I'm happy, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we can at least have 3 female governors. I think there are all reasons why we must have both men and women sitting in decision-making positions, especially for the development agenda. We do not want to see a reason where women are still looked down upon. And for me, we have had the controversy with the 11th Parliament on the 2/3 gender rule, and I know you really hosted this debate. And when we thought all was lost, a few women decided, no, we shall run. We shall run for those seats that are not reserved for women. And indeed, the girls have done us proud. We must, as a country, begin to appreciate the inclusivity of the Constitution. The beauty of the Kenya Constitution 2010 is the anti-discrimination, the inclusion principles for women, for persons with disability, for the marginalized. And for me, I am happy to live to see that within the 10 years of the Kenya Constitution, we can test what it means to have a female political leader at the top. I think there are many good things to come.
Right, in the political space, we have that is happening, but also when it comes to the corporate sector, I reported recently of diversity and inclusivity in the corporate sector, especially the boards. This is not really forthcoming as well. So this can be a learning point also when it comes to the corporate sector, Joking Gumi.
I absolutely agree. I think the first thing we have to say is that I have to agree with my friend, the commissioner here, that things are cracking open. And so we can't say that, and the thing that Kenyans used to say about Nendeni, go and compete for the women's rep. And then leave all these other things the way things used to be. I think I'm really loving this idea of women running for gender-neutral positions alongside men, alongside everybody, and winning. That said, the thing that's kind of holding us back is our cultural ideas about the places that women are allowed to be, the things that women are allowed to do, and that the thing that's really encouraging me is that Kenyans are really beginning to question these things, and that more and more people are beginning to say that it doesn't mean that we need to be led by a man because societies have always been led by men, because societies are patriarchal. I want to hear more men coming out and saying this, because it feels sometimes like we're running around in a circle whenever we're having a gender conversation, it's the women who are asked to make commentary about the gender position. So I'm very eager to hear what the men on the panel have to say with regard to that. And the other thing was what you asked about the corporate space. I think, yes, things are shifting. I'll echo something that Honorable Odinga said during his debate, which I took issue with at that point in time, which was that women necessarily need to have equality in society first before they have equality in positions of leadership. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think we are at a place where we need both and, but we need more equality in general society before we even start lauding Kenyans for having moved forward, because there's more diversity in the corporate space. The corporate space, while it is an important space in the way this country is run, is not the solitary space in which this country is run. We still have the private space in which the patriarchy is very strong, and we have all these other spaces that lean into the public space. So where people are being educated, what's happening in public transport, all manner of things, where the position of women in society is echoed by the fact that people don't think women should be occupying public space or even occupying public office. So we need to shift our ideas in about what women are in the public, what we think about their opinions, what we think about how they should dress, what we think about how they should speak and what they should say. Every time women have public opinions, and the commissioner will tell you, women are always castigated more for having even probably the same thing that a man would say. It's just that now people think because it's a woman, she shouldn't really be saying it. So while, yes, it's great that we have the possibilities for female governors up from 0, I think that's wonderful. It's great that things are shifting in the corporate space. Things also need to shift in the wider public arena, and things need to shift in the private space for us to really see progress for women.
All right, so the issue of affirmative action, has that also been a crippling factor especially on making women, you know, really go for it, you know, go for the for the blue vein, go for the jugular, Captain Wanderi?
You know, Dibal, my daughter Dutaga Dhoni Wanderi is watching. And you know, anything I say here could be held against me now and in the future. But I want to say this. I'm smiling, and we had just been talking with the Madam Chair here, that you see, you've asked a valid question. Part of the problem we have had with the lack of gender mainstreaming in our country is the denial of economic empowerment for women. That whereas they may be advancing in terms of academics and other issues, you have for a long time laws that made it impossible for even girls to inherit their father's properties. And that means when a woman got married, she even missed inheritance, even if her father was a billionaire. And that's very bad. That means if her mother was married as a poor woman, then the daughter would inherit poverty too, even where she goes. But that is changing with Article 27 of the 2010 Constitution, and we must commend that. But again, as a people, and as a country, and as a population, and even we as men, we must recognize one thing, that demographically, women constitute almost 52% of the population. You cannot sideline the largest segment of your population and then expect equal development and good development. They must be part and parcel of the development in the political, in the economic, and in the social process. And this is important. It is good. I was telling Madam Commissioner here that when the women governors are elected, she must call for a party.
A big one.
A big party, and invite us, especially for those of us men who believe in gender equality, because if you have a daughter, you want the best out of for her. So it is important as a country that we are moving forward. It is good for the women, and I would actually encourage women who feel that they can do it and they go for it, to go for the positions that are not legislated specifically for women, that those special seats, you know, we get out of that so that they can then compete for the other positions. We have very strong candidates. Wavinya Deti is contesting in Machakos, Joyce Laboso in Bomet, Anu Aigoro and Martha Karua in Kirinyaga, Charity Gilu in Kitui. I'm actually amazed and happy that the people of Kitui, because for a long time that has been a part of the country, Rift Valley and even Eastern Province, where women leaders have emerged. Gilu has been elected many times, and we had others. And it is also important that in other regions that men begin to accept that women have a bigger role to play in our society, and they must be accommodated in the political, economic, and social space. And to allude to what Dr. Joki has said, it is also important. You know, recently some 3 men were sentenced to life imprisonment, in fact to hang, because of sexual harassment and robbery against a woman. Everything that we do as citizens, whether men or women, to objectify women and to subjugate them and reduce them to second-class citizens is abhorrible, and anybody who is still thinking in that culture in the past, after 2010, is actually not living in the present world. Kenya has moved on. And I think if you celebrate, Madam Commissioner, these governors, then you are likely to have 10 or 15 in the next election.
In the next election, of course, also we're eagerly waiting to see if we'll have also the first chair of the Council of Governors being a woman as well. Right.
And maybe the senatorial also. I'm expecting, I think, about 2 or 3 female senators.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's just wait and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Caesar, let's hear your actions.
In fact, I completely agree with my fellow panelists here. There's a concept of equality of opportunity, which is enshrined in our Constitution. Article 27, subsection 3, specifically states that women and men have the right to equal treatment, including the right to equal opportunities in political, economic, cultural, and social spheres. Okay, and in fact, what we are seeing is an actualization of this particular article in the Constitution by the election of the governors. And it is fantastic when you see an individual deciding, irrespective of gender, I want to go for governor, I want to go for MP, I want to go for president, because you have an equal opportunity as everybody else. And that actualization actually takes place when the electorate does not see a woman or a man, but sees somebody we can entrust with a leadership position. And I said earlier, trust is based on character and competence. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman, a man, a youth, because sometimes we have divisions in this country and we forget that first of all, we have got to be trustworthy individuals if we're going for leadership. So character and competence. And there is no reason why we should discriminate against any man, any woman, or any youth if we're discriminating because of the fact of nature, that that's where they are at. They are a man or a woman. That's not what they choose.
Right.
So the Constitution is very clear, and I'm delighted that we have governors, and I hope that, and I'm sure that they can prove that they are up to the task because they decided to go for it. And we're really looking forward to even more taking.
All right. And some of